So your ex, your baby mama,
Okay.
has cheated on you
Real
with your 15-year-old brother.
my so like I said, I'm suspecting it. I kind of know this is happening, and
Yeah,
so I'm trying to do my own thing now. I take off. I go find a little room to live in, to stay in, and I'm doing my thing. I'm going to work. I'm seeing my kids,
yeah.
and then something happened where the mother of my kids ended up. No, I take that back. Depression hit bad. Depression hit bad, and I suspected my mother was covering for them. I suspected my siblings knew about it, and I was the only pendejo that didn't
Wow,
know
that is
anything.
so crazy. Your mom and
And
everybody covering for it.
so I hit depression bad, and one day
Yeah.
I'm walking down. For those of you that if you're from Oxnard,
Mhm.
I'm walking north on Rose Avenue. I'm about to cross Fifth Street, and there comes the
Mhm.
train. And
Mm.
I was walking towards that train. No matter how hard the guy hit the, I
Yeah,
didn't hear it. I was walking towards it,
yeah,
and something tugged my shirt, my sweater.
yeah.
Something tugged me back. I stopped and looked. There was nothing there. Okay,
Wow, what
I
a
I
yeah,
believe that
yeah.
same day,
That's like a God feeling for
that
sure.
same day, the mother of my kids told me she was pregnant, and I'm like, shit. Whose kid is
So
it?
okay, you're at the train, and then what? You go back, and then she tells you she's pregnant.
So that yeah, that day, that same day, she tells me she's pregnant, and well, whose
Did
is
you
it?
believe it was your? Yes, that's what I was about to ask. Like, who
I
did
don't.
you think what it
Like
was?
I said, she stopped this whole bullshit with my brother, and again, let's be family again. All right,
Yeah.
cool, whatever. I'm working. I'm working. I'm doing my thing. Apparently, while I'm at work, she's going and meeting my brother behind my back.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
I end up getting pulled over because I'm driving without a license because I'm trying to work. I got pulled over and I was convicted. I had to surrender myself for 35 days. No
Mm-hmm.
violence, no violence. Just I violated probation. I got to go turn
Yeah.
myself in.
Yeah.
So
Real
in the
quick,
time,
because everybody doesn't know, because we started recording right in the juice of it, and I apologize to you,
let's
Andy,
do
by
a
the
mini
way.
intro. Mini
Yes.
intro.
Okay, we'll do it real quick. Okay, guys. Real quick, we messed up on well, I messed up on the whole recording. So real quick, welcome to Real Hot Mom Shit. I have Andy from Flat Tire, Andy's Ride With Me podcast. I met him on TikTok. He had such an interesting story about his upbringing, about him gaining custody of his kids, just even the crazy drama behind how he got it, got custody of his kids. We were really getting into it. Andy went to jail because of her, because of domestic violence, and
Yeah,
then
my fault. My fault.
but in his defense, he basically was fed up with her cheating on him. She kept on cheating on him with younger men. Younger,
Kids.
like teenage kid, yes, kids. Like she was 19, the boy was 16, and repeatedly did that. They were uprooting their family. He was raising her daughter, which is, his stepdaughter at the time, and they're uprooting, and he's working his tail off, and she keeps on cheating on him. So out of one of the times that she cheated on him, he clotheslined her and ended up getting federal, felony off of that. After that, he gave her another opportunity, because he wanted to make it work for his family, because he was still raising her daughter, and he's been raising her daughter since she was 4 months old. So then they end up having a baby together, and where he was in the beginning of the episode was telling us how he caught his ex cheating with his brother, his younger brother, 15-year-old, and how
And she
his
was
brother.
22.
Yes, and
She
she
was
was
22.
pregnant too. And his mom and family, everybody knew about it besides him. And so, boom, he finds out this day. Him and his brothers are fighting each other. He's over it, and he's about to go walk and, do the one thing that you shouldn't, and I'm glad you didn't, because now you're telling your story to us, and you're saying that you had a moment where you felt like God pulled you back and it was a good thing, and then she's telling you she's pregnant.
Here's the
She's
good thing
pregnant
that
with your son.
here's the good thing you messed up. Now your listeners have to come listen to mine.
Yes, exactly. Y'all guys can get like the real tea on everything, because he even told us a little bit about his mother and his upbringing and how that was. So y'all guys definitely have to tune into his podcast, because man, his stories are definitely intriguing. He has 118 episodes, but he will put you on throughout whatever episode you're on. He'll put you on to an episode that you need to go to, and he'll refer back to it. He'll reference off of it. So no matter what episode that you're on, he got the meat, the juice of it on another episode. So he'll lead you to the right one.
Kind of like the first 10 are kind of like in order in a way, but
Mhm.
after that, it's just whenever it happens. Whenever I'm talking to somebody that I can remember of an event. So, where
Yes.
was I? So, yeah, so,
Okay,
you
so
know,
you find out that she's pregnant, and you're
she's
asking like, whose baby is it?
so whose baby is it? We're, again, trying to work it out. But when I'm at work, she's visiting him. When I turn myself in for those 35 days, she's visiting him. And
Wow.
so I don't know this. I'm in jail, obviously, right? And
Yeah.
honestly, jail was so freaking peaceful. You have no
Yeah,
idea.
because I'm sure it's chaos
It
at
was
home.
for
Constant
someone to
bickering and
say
fighting.
for someone to say that they really enjoyed the peace and quiet, being locked up in a cell smaller than this room.
Yeah.
So my son is born, and that damn kid looks a spitting image of me. Same thing to the T. That kid is me all over again. My grandma even once
Yeah.
said, I'm watching you grow up all over again. So there's no
Yeah.
denying it. That's my baby, right? Um,
Yeah.
so my son, okay, again, like I said, we're playing, I got out of jail, we're playing house. And
Mhm.
2009, my son was born in February 2009. Maybe a few months later, towards maybe, I don't know, let's say October again, November,
Mhm.
she gets a tattoo of my brother's name on her chest.
Oh my
We're playing house.
goodness.
We're playing house.
Oh my
And she
goodness.
gets a tattoo of my brother's name on her chest. All right. Um, I lose. I done. I I give up. I am not winning this war. I give up.
So
Um,
you didn't choose
Jack.
violence. That's it. You just like fuck
No, no,
that.
I'm telling you, the fact that she still tells people to this day, that I beat her.
Yeah.
There was a guy in jail that asked me, "Hey, I heard you're in here for domestic violence. Did you beat her up, or what did you do?" And I was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna fuck me up." No, sir. I just, I WWF clotheslined, and she fell back, hit her head on a toy. He's like, "That's it." He started laughing. Big old cholo from Santa Paula, big old homie, tattoos everywhere.
Yeah.
He's like, "You know what, man? I was about to beat your ass, but that was the funniest shit I've ever heard. And sometimes they need it." I'm like, "I'm not going to agree
Yeah.
with you, sir. I'm not going to
Yeah.
agree."
Yeah. Because
So
you're like, man, I ain't trying to feel
I'm going to get
guilty.
my.
Like you're feeling guilty about it, but you're not even trying to like, no, like
So
agree with that shit.
so it was January, the first couple of days of January 2010. She was supposed to go to work. Hey, bud, did she show up to work? Nah, bro, she's not here. All right, click. My bags were packed and ready to go. My
Yeah.
bags are packed. I'm ready to go. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
My bags are packed. I'm ready to go. Waiting for her to get home because she needs to clock in to being a mom, and I'm clocking out. Deuces.
Yeah.
She walks in. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. Her shift is from 3 in the morning to like 7.
Yeah.
And she's walking in at 11 o'clock in the morning. She walks in. I grab my bags and I walk out the front door. We need counseling. We need counseling. No, no, no. We need counseling. We need counseling. No, you need to be a mom. And I walk out. I'm probably within maybe a quarter of a mile away. And you know when they say you can sense someone looking at you?
Yeah.
I turned back and she was looking from the living room window. I kept going.
Yeah.
So people always ask me, why do you tolerate 6 years of infidelity,
Yeah.
of just this bullshit? Because, and I always said it because I fell in love. They're like, but she drove you crazy.
Yeah.
No. I fell in love with that 4-month baby that I raised for 6 years.
Yeah.
When I showed you my tattoo earlier, my daughter's name is signed on there. It's her writing. And I told you earlier, I got this tattoo just 4 years ago.
Yeah.
My daughter's been a part of my life. My daughter's been part of my life her whole life. I'm her dad.
Yeah.
So when I say I fell in love, it was because of my daughter.
Yeah.
You know, and I was done. I was done. I left. I was losing friends left and right. People were like, "We're tired of this shit, dude. You need to fucking grow up." And I left. And so for the first, few months, no, I can't even say that. She just made my life hell when it came to visiting the kids. She didn't let me see the kids for 2 weeks. I went to court.
Y'all guys already have 2 kids together. So like your stepdaughter and then your son, correct?
Both.
Yeah. Both, yeah.
So 3 altogether.
Okay, so you have 2 kids. So
Yeah.
how many years are the last 2?
Both they're
Apart from each
16
other?
they're 16 months apart.
Oh wow. Yeah, y'all guys
18
had them back to
18
back.
months apart. 18 months apart. So every 6 months we have a party. We have a party.
Yeah.
Just a birthday.
You have a party, yes.
So yeah, because my oldest boy was 9 months old when she got pregnant with the little one. So they're, like I said, they're literally 18 months apart.
Yeah.
So like I said, I take off, I leave, and she's making it difficult for me to see the kids. So I go to court and I ask for some kind of citations. Hey, I haven't seen my kids in 2 weeks. What's up? And they're like, the judge is like, no, we're not. This is not going to slide. He has every right to see his kids. So I got visitations. I got to see them every day, 3 hours a day. I would figure it out. I wasn't working. I was almost homeless, but I made time to go see my kids.
Yeah.
And one day she made it hell for me that I walked an hour away to meet her at the police station, just to to pick up my kids.
Yeah.
The part that pissed me off was that I wasn't even out of the house for 2 months when she got herself with a new guy, and I had to get in this guy's face because my son, he burned my youngest, which was only not even a year old, with a cigarette.
Oh wow.
So till this day, my son has that scar on his hand.
Oh
So
no.
I
It was
was
a
like,
bad
no,
burn.
yeah. So I was like, no, this is too
Wow.
much. This is too much. But there's nothing I can do. All I can do is call the police, make reports, and store my reports.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then,
So she has all your kids. She moved on with somebody else. Some other guy is taking care of her and the kids, basically.
and honestly, I kind of suspected this guy was in kind of like in danger, because he had my daughter's pink bat in the car. So I grabbed the pink bat from him. Like, what kind of man walks around with a bat? And I took the bat away from him. Well, years later, he was murdered
Oh
because
wow.
his own gang 86'd him. They, I'm like,
Wow.
you get with some, what kind of? We'll get
So
there.
she gets with this guy who's a gang member. Is he older?
They're about the same age, I would say.
Oh, okay, okay. Around the same age. Well, at least it
Yeah.
wasn't younger, but at the same time, like, wow, great choice of man for sure.
Yeah. So like I said, 2010, 2011. I am doing whatever I can to see my kids for 2 years. like I
The fact
said,
that you're walking, like
yeah.
you're walking to go see your kids. There's some guys out here that don't even put in the efforts. They're like, fuck that. She's too much drama. I don't want to
Yeah.
deal with her. And they would be like, fuck that kid. I'll see whenever he turns 18 and I'll tell
So,
him.
so like I said, I wasn't working. I wasn't making any money. At one point, I started slanging DVDs.
Yeah,
Made like three
babysitting
hundred. Made like
kids.
three. Made like $300 in 1 week.
Yeah. Oh,
And I
me
bought
too. A little
and I
weekend for me.
and I and I bought a bike. I bought a bike, so now I have a bicycle. And the next when I start working, my first paycheck goes to a little bike trailer. And my
Mhm.
kids, that was their transportation. I would pick up my kids and put them in this trailer, and drive them to the
Wow.
beach, drive them to the whatever nearby McDonald's to play in the playpen,
Wow.
whatever.
Oh,
And
damn. Andy, that is so sweet. Like how you're going and picking up your kids and get a little trailer and taking them like, oh,
the trailer, this is back in
the love for your
2011,
kids.
2011. I still have the trailer in the back in the garage. They won't let me get rid of it. My wife will not let me get rid of it.
Wow.
And
That is
so
so cool.
like I said, I was homeless for a couple months. A buddy of mine let me stay in his kitchen. He put a bed in
Yeah.
his kitchen to let me stay there.
Um,
And you know, like I said, I finally get a job, and I
yeah.
get a bed. I get an apart. I rent a room now. And
Yeah.
when then my brother hits me up, hey, I can't do this with my mom anymore. Let's get an apartment together. We get an apartment
Is
together.
this the
He,
brother that
no,
cheated on?
no,
Okay,
no, no,
okay. I
no,
was
no.
like, wow,
My
you
mom,
forgave
my
him?
mom had, my mom had 12 of us. So,
Oh,
uh,
wow. There's 12 of y'all.
yeah.
Wow.
So, oops. So pretty much, my brother, the one after me, he's like, hey,
Yeah.
dude, I'm tired of this shit. Can we just get an apartment together and go from there? All right, cool. Now we have an apartment. Now I'm making more money. I get me a little car, and while I'm working at Walmart, my brother got me in Walmart. He's like, if you're willing to do whatever it takes, I'm gonna get you a job. So he got me a
Yeah.
job at Walmart, and we're going already, 2 years, not really dating anybody. My self
Yeah.
esteem is gone.
Yeah.
There was when I lived in a house, I had a roommate that she had eyes for me, and she threw herself at me, and I always sorry.
Yeah.
My manhood was gone. Um,
Because of your ex. She just
yes,
kind of like
yes,
fucked up she
yes,
just made you so insecure with yourself. Yeah.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
maybe like mid 2012, we're talking like maybe June, let's say.
Yeah.
I meet my wife at work, and
Yeah.
she's just a friend. I don't see her any other way. She couldn't stand me. She thought I was annoying. She hated my
Yeah.
guts. But
Wow.
one day, she's like, hey, we're gonna have a birthday party for a friend. You're welcome to come. I know you have kids. I used to carry a badge.
Yeah.
Walmart, they have
Yeah.
in the back of the badge, it was a picture of my kids. So
Aw. Yeah.
she knew I had kids.
Yeah.
She knew I had kids. She knew I had kids, so she said, why don't you come to this birthday party and bring your kids? It'll be fun. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I normally don't introduce my kids to anybody, but
Yeah.
this was just a friend. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't have the picture with me.
No.
I thought I did. Um,
Um,
So she says, hey, come on down. So we go, and she meets my kids and everything, whatever. And then, like I said, nothing of it. I learned that she lived
does
down the
she
street from.
let you have your stepdaughter too
Yeah.
whenever you're getting the
The,
kids?
the,
Yeah.
the thing is, no one ever knew that she was my stepdaughter, because I never said this is my
Yeah.
stepdaughter and my
No, no,
kids.
no. I get that, but like, sometimes whenever it's not biologically yours, they'll be like,
Yeah.
no, you can have your kids, but my kid can stay here.
No. That's the beautiful thing about it is she
Yeah.
allowed me to pick her up too, and
Yeah.
that's what helped the case. So,
Yeah.
I learned that my wife lives down the street from the beach. I spend a lot of time of my days in the beach because it just relaxes me.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
Cali's beaches are beautiful. I actually
it,
want to go just for the beach. I just want to
it
sit there.
it was my safe haven, right? If that's the right
Yeah.
term. And
Yeah.
so when she found out that I went to the beach a lot. I went to the beach, so we started, walking the beach, getting to know each
Yeah.
other. And but she always
Mhm.
saw that at 2 o'clock I had to go.
Yeah.
So I did this for weeks, where she started to think like, is this guy like con otra muchacha? What's going on?
Yeah. That's what I would think.
She didn't know what drama was until she met me. So that's the name of the
That's so
title. That's the name of
crazy.
the title.
Yes.
Didn't know
Right?
drama. So
She didn't know drama until she
yeah.
seen me.
So she just sees that I take off running. It could be halfway down her walk, and I gotta go. I gotta go, and I would take off. So again, one day I told her, hey, I'm gonna take my kids to the beach. We're gonna go fishing. They like to go fishing. You're more than welcome to join us. And she said,
Yeah.
what do I bring? Nothing. I just bring the kids snacks or whatever. And my kids make fun of this because they said, Dad, did you really go fishing, or did you go fishing for mom? Oh God.
You're
So
like, ah.
this is the first time that she really sees me interact with my kids.
Yeah.
And she's like, this guy's a completely different person compared
Yeah.
to at work. At work, he's annoying. Here with his kids, he's like, she
Yeah.
said that day she fell in love, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could see that. Like, whenever a guy's being a dad to his kids, you'd be like, "Aw."
So she saw that.
Right.
So now she saw that. So now we're taking this into like, hey, okay, then let's. And she'll kill me if I don't remember. But on December 17,
Hmm.
2012, I asked her. I said, "Do you just want to make this official?" That was my romantic way of saying, "You want to get
Wow.
together?" And she said yes. And then now came 2 o'clock, and I would take off.
Yeah.
But this time, I will show up with 3 kids.
Yeah.
Next day, boom, I'll be back. So she
Now,
then,
were you gone at 2 o'clock every single day because you had to be there because of like court orders? Like,
I'm a time freak. I don't like to be late.
um,
I
oh,
don't
okay,
like to
okay.
be late. I was
Yeah.
shooting bricks that I told you that I was going to be home early today, and
Yeah. No, you're
so
okay.
so now she sees what I would do. I would go take off to go be with my kids. My kids came first over
Yeah.
anything and anyone.
Yeah.
Now I'm meeting the kids around. The kids are loving her. They're starting to they're starting to like her. And then at one point, the little one says, "Hey, can I call you mom?"
No.
And she was like, "I mean, I guess." And he even went and asked his mom, "Hey, can I call her mom? Can I call her mom?"
Yeah.
And
How did she feel about that? How did your ex react to you having a girlfriend now and bringing
she
the kids around?
So the typical toxica bullshit. You
Yeah.
can cheat on me multiple times. You can move on after I leave. But the moment I start dating, it's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Oh, no, no, no. So we'll get there. We'll get there. And wait, there's more. um, so,
Yes.
you know, now it's like, okay, cool, so one time the mother of my kids is telling my kids something, and my daughter says it to us, and it's getting over and over and over. And my wife is a very shy person, very
Mhm.
quiet. You know how they say las calladitas you have to be afraid of, or worried about those? Like, oh,
Yes.
hell no. She went up to the mother of my kids, got in her face, and told her this shit needs to stop. This shit
Yeah.
needs to stop. I'm in my car looking at in the mirror.
That is
You
so
know,
cool though. She really
she
like stood up to
She
her.
stood up for herself. Again, we're not even dating for a year. We're not even dating for a year.
Wow.
So,
So it must have been that bad for her to be
well,
like, yo, chill out.
so I don't remember the time frame, but I know, like I said, it's 2012 now. I think we're into the beginning of 2013,
Hmm.
and I'm working. No, in August of 2013, I get a job offer for this company,
Hmm.
and this company. And one day I pick up I take the boys home. I take the kids home, but I come back with them. And my oldest boy, who's 17 now, he's
Mm-hmm.
in tears. I'm in
Mm.
tears. We're both crying. So my wife asked my son, Mijo, what's wrong? And in
Yeah.
2012, 2013, he's what? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He's 6 years old. And
Mm-hmm.
he's crying and he tells my wife, my mom doesn't love me.
Mm.
So my wife sees, again, we haven't even talked about getting married. And
Yeah.
she says, we need to get custody of these kids now. Her
Mm.
mom, not even really knowing me,
Yeah.
gave me the $4,000 retainer to go get a lawyer. She didn't even know me.
Wow. But like, what was it? Like, what was happening with the
Just the
kids?
just the verbal abuse they were going through, the physical abuse they were going through, the fact that you have a 6 year old coming to you crying, saying my mom doesn't love me, like
Yeah.
he's being hurt,
Yeah.
and she sees we see how we pick them up. They're always dirty. At one, with the whole burn on his hand. One day, the little
What did
one.
she say about that? Like, whenever you confronted her and asked her about it.
It was always my fault. It was always me. That's another trigger that I'm fighting to this day. That I got
Yeah.
blamed for everything. At one point, it's
Yeah.
like, holy shit!
Oh,
Did I
I
do?
get blamed. I get blamed all the time for, my ex, my last marriage. I still get
Yeah.
blamed. Like, it's my
I,
fault. It's my fault.
I
And I'm
actually,
just
I,
like, I guess.
I actually, I, I actually recently spoke to a family member the other day, and they're like,
Hmm.
"You're starting to sound just like your mother. You get all defensive." I'm like, "Dude, I've been fighting with people all my life, defending myself from to prove myself right. That it's a self defense mechanism. I don't just
Yeah.
turn it off. I just
Yeah.
recently told my boss the other day, you better go talk to that receiver because I don't like to look like a liar. To this
Yeah.
day, I just can't turn it off. So
Yeah.
anytime something happened, it was my fault. It was Andy. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. Okay, whatever. So we go to court, and I no, I go and I meet the lawyer, and my
Yeah.
lawyer, she gives you 30 minutes free, the first 30 minutes, and
Yeah.
then we get to the part where it says, "Baby mama slept with my." No, no. Okay, let me rewind and then fast forward. So in 2013, now that I'm living my life,
Yeah.
she bumps into my brother again and instantly get married. Instantly.
Wow.
So they go in.
So the brother that you caught her messing around with, which
Yeah,
was 15 years old at the
at
time.
the time.
How old was she?
She was 22 at the time.
22 with your 15-year-old brother. Okay, so now fast forward later.
Fast forward.
He's
Now
a
he's
grown
what?
man now.
Yeah, now he's what? 2013. He's what? 21? Yeah, 21. And
Still young.
21, and they go in and they get married. And he has all this hatred for me because in 2011 him and I got into another fist fight, and
Mm,
if it wasn't for my kids, I would have killed him.
yeah.
And actually, one of my recent podcast episodes, I had that brother on and we talked about it.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah.
Wow. I need to listen to that one. Y'all need to listen to that one. That one's interesting. Okay,
So
so you talked to him about it.
yeah, so like I said, in 2013, this kid still hates
Mhm.
me. And he's an
Yeah.
alcoholic. He's into drugs. So I go to my lawyer. I go to the lawyer and I say, look, she married the one person that hates me the most. He's an alcoholic. He's in drugs. He's all this stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm afraid for my kid's safety. The lawyer's like, she married who?
Yeah.
My brother? She, oh fuck, oh no, no way.
Yeah.
So then she asked me why I wanted a lawyer, why I wanted to get custody. Another reason was I see my kid's upbringing just like mine. Just
Oh,
like mine. The same
that has to
patterns.
hurt.
The
Yeah, that
same
has to
patterns.
hurt.
So my lawyer's like, I'll take your case, but you need therapy. And my wife's like, I've been telling him for years. So I
Yeah,
I
because
took
it's a
therapy.
lot of shit that you had to like
Yeah.
unpack, man.
So I went to therapy sessions, and I found out what my triggers were, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's another topic. Um, so I take her to court, and pretty much episode nine. Episode nine is, we talk about, like, I take.
Yeah.
Remember I told you.
Talk about the whole
Remember
case,
the
everything.
remember I told you earlier. Every time something happened, I wrote it down, put it on in my milk crate.
Yeah.
My probably
You know,
my
you're good. You're really, whenever I heard you had crates, you reminded me of my father. And let me tell you why. My father, he fought custody for me and my oldest sister, and my dad was really good at keeping paperwork all the time, paperwork. And he had file dividers and
yeah
everything for every single thing. So when you said that on your episode, I was like, yo, this reminds me of my dad and his case. Well, not really. Well, yeah, to kind of the extent, but like not really to that extent.
yeah
Like different things were happening.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ended up I took everything I had. I went to therapy. My wife and I got married, and the one thing my lawyer saw was like, this guy is marrying someone completely opposite of what his mother is.
Yeah.
His baby mama is completely opposite. Good role model. She did something that nobody like. Whenever I did talk to somebody,
Yeah.
your baby mama's crazy, man.
Yeah.
When I did start
So
talking to
everybody
people,
saw the signs there. Everybody saw the signs.
a
Yeah.
counselor told my wife, "You need to run. Do not get with this guy."
Yeah.
And she was like, "You can't help who you fall in love with." She did the one thing that no one ever thought of doing, that no one ever dreamt of doing. My wife stood on the court, on the stand, and testified everything she did, everything she saw, including cleaning out my daughter's hair because she was infested with lice.
Oh wow.
Infested with lice. So my wife took her to Encino. She paid like $100 and some dollars. Let's just say that the moment right when we started working on custody, my wife no longer worked. She became a stay-at-home mom. In the
Mm,
past, I would say, Your Honor, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. That wasn't a good answer. Your Honor, my wife is a stay-at-home mom now. So boom.
yeah.
She got up there, she testified, and it was just like, when the mediator, I'm fighting in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012,
Yeah.
and in 2014, when a mediator finally starts to listen to me, and it starts lecturing her.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure that felt good because finally, because you know what? I will say that it is so much harder for a man to fight for custody than it is for a woman. Off the back, a woman will get
Yeah,
like, and not even that, a woman can actually like work and work and work on like,
yeah,
trying to get their kid. They can lose their kids and get them back, lose their
yeah.
kids and get them back. But for a man, it's not that easy.
Well,
It's not easy at all. At
well,
all.
she lost custody of the kids, and she lost custody of the boys in March of 2014, and
Mm-hmm.
then and in June of 2014, she lost custody of my daughter, full on custody, 100% custody to me, all
Yeah.
three kids. Then because she did let me take all three kids in the past, the judge is like, "What's the problem
Yeah.
now? What's the problem
Yeah.
now?" So now you don't
Exactly.
want him to be a dad? Bullshit. So
Yeah.
I got full custody, and then I was also awarded to be added to her birth certificate.
Oh, that's
My
so
last name,
dope.
my
Yes.
last name was added to her name.
Oh, I
So,
love it.
so you know,
I'm glad you were able to take her out of that home. You know what I
well,
mean?
the,
Because
the
it's not like that all the time for everybody. I have a middle sister that my dad, like, she got taken out of my mother's home, and then my dad went and like tried to get her, and he got her for a little bit, and I don't really know what happened in the in between, but she ended up getting sent back. And then, you know what I mean? My mom resented my dad for that. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
she resented him. And I'm like, why would you resent somebody who was there and wanted to take care of your
Yeah.
kids? Not many men do that.
Well, this is where it got, more crazy, right? So now I have full custody of the kids.
Yeah.
And I'm working for this company now that I'm driving to Santa Barbara. My wife's a stay-at-home
Mhm.
mom now. So guess who's taking the kids to school?
Your wife.
Guess who's going to the awards? Guess
Yeah.
who's going on the field trips? So it
Yeah.
got to the point where the mother of my kids is very good at telling people what they want. She's very good at manipulating people to make them believe her.
Yeah.
That's why till this day, I just heard it a couple of days ago. Till this day, she's still telling people how I beat her, kept her hostage, and all this bullshit. So
Yeah.
she started showing up to the school while my wife is dropping off the kids, and she would show up with a posse, and they would call her the evil stepmom, the evil step witch, and just like
Okay, so
whatever.
I heard about this posse on I think episode 9 when your private investigator was saying that they would follow every, but then they were all like nothing to say in court because they were like she was in the
Yeah.
wrong. She was in the
So
wrong. So was
so
this
they
her family that was her
her
posse or
family,
friends?
her family, her friends. One day they're at the award show, and my wife is sitting in the front row, and they're sitting behind her, and they're just filming her on fucking Instagram and just like talking shit about her, right? And
Mm.
my wife is taking all this shit, and she's just like, because like she said, at the end of the day, those boys, that little girl, it's all that matters. At the end of the day, it's going to bite them in the ass. At the end of the day, it's going to bite her in the ass. So
Yeah.
when I was back in 2005 and 2006, when I was taking parenting classes and anger
Mhm.
management classes for what happened in 2005, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 2006, 2007, what happened in 2005, um,
Yeah.
I learned never badmouth the mother in front of the children
Yeah.
because it will bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
We fast forward now to 17 and 15-year-olds. They don't even want their friends to know who their biological mother is.
Wow. Because it's
So,
embarrassing for them.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's a joke. To them, she's a
Yeah.
joke. My son was 7 years old. He's 17 now. He's seven
Yeah.
years old, and he came up to me one day. He's like, "Dad, you're not an asshole."
Yeah.
Excuse-moi? Excusez-moi? What do you mean? He said, "Dad,
Yeah.
you're not an asshole." I'm like, "What's your definition of an asshole?" He said, "Well, someone who's really mean and bad and does bad things." And I'm like, "And what makes you think I'm an asshole?" Well,
Yeah.
because my mom's always telling my grandma and my tias that you're an asshole. But I don't see it.
Mm.
For a
Yeah.
long time, for a very long time, till this day, because of her, because of my upbringing, because of my mother, because of my siblings, because of
Yeah.
everyone, I've always had to have that mentality of proving people wrong.
Yeah.
So when my son said, "You're not an asshole,"
Mm-hmm. Yes. But you know, I get it. That's like a big like defense mechanism. But at the end of the day, you know, whether it's good or whether it's bad, people are gonna continue judging,
yeah,
and you're gonna continue having to defend yourself. So, like to an extent, like don't even care. You know what I mean? Like don't.
yeah.
As long as the people who you love the most knows who you are, that's all that matters. Everybody else, it don't matter. It
This
doesn't.
is this is
And
like
that's so much easier said than done. I get it.
so I recently had like I said, I recently had a conversation with somebody, one of my family members about
Yeah.
I get defensive and I'm being so they pretty much want me to own up to shit that I didn't do, and
Yeah.
they started throwing shit on my face, and I'm like, that doesn't
But
even
see,
make
that's
fucking
the crazy stuff because you're talking about this stuff. They're listening. So when they're listening, they're having opinions about the things that you're talking about.
yeah.
And they're trying to make you see things for the way they see it and trying to defend their own story. And it's like, no, like if you just keep it real,
So
this is the real story here.
so what I thought about it, and this is like maybe like a microphone drop scenario. right?
Yeah.
So in 2004 to the end of 2009, I was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Everything I did, everything I did bit me in the ass. I lost a car I didn't finish paying for. I lost collections of things, items that I didn't finish paying for. I
Yeah.
lost the mother of my kids. I lost my custody of my kids. I lost my license. I lost my freedom.
No.
I lost everything.
Yeah.
And this is what my brother, this is what one of the brothers that was raised with my grandma told me recently. If you're still the same person you were back then, when's the last time you set foot in the jail cell?
Yeah.
It's been a long time. So
Yeah.
bad things happen to people that do bad things. I am 100% proof of that.
Oh
But
yeah. I,
also, but also, good things happen to good people. So
yeah.
as of 2010, I decided to grow the fuck up, and my
Yeah.
life has only gotten better ever since. I went
Yeah.
from not having a car to now driving a 2022 Camry.
Yeah. Oh, that's
No
nice.
license. I got my
Mm-hmm.
license back. I didn't have a job. I have a job that has
Yeah.
rewarded me with that $1,000 check up there and little
Oh,
trophies
that
here and
is so
there.
cool. Yeah.
I have a job that I went from being homeless to now, maybe it's not my house, but I live in a 3-bedroom house
Yeah.
where I have a freaking room to my podcast itself.
Yeah. I mean, first off, in California, it's the most expensive freaking state to even own a house.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I so
So
understand. Yes.
since 2010, for me to be such this horrible person that everybody believes,
Yeah.
my life has been a blessing ever since 2010. Since I eliminated negative people and negativity out of my life, my sister came to visit in Christmas of 2021, and my
Mm-hmm.
grandma passed away that same weekend that she was here.
Oh
So
wow.
when I got home from work, she's fighting with my mom over the phone, and she's fighting with my brother, a different brother, the baby of the family, over the
Yeah.
phone, and they're talking down to her, they're talking shit to her, and she is bawling.
Yeah.
And I had just bought her a 6-pack of Mike's lemonades, and she pounded those things. She was fucking drunk. The
Yeah.
next morning, and I'm talking to her, mija, let it go, mija. There's nothing you can do about it. That's the way they
Yeah.
are. Let it be.
Yeah.
So the next morning, she apologizes to my wife for her actions, and she
Mm-hmm.
says, "Wow, the old Andy would have driven to Oxnard and punched both those fuckers in the face."
Yeah.
My wife responded with, "I haven't met that Andy you guys all talk about."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you
Because those
know,
people bring out the worst in you because there's so much hurt because of the upbringing, your mother. And it's so crazy because I'm sure that's one of your biggest triggers is your mother. You know what I mean? And with you getting into a really bad toxic relationship straight off the bat, you being so young, it makes sense. You know what I mean? It
lo
makes
que
a lot
no,
of sense.
lo que no
Mm-hmm.
quieres, vas a tener. So I hooked up with
Mm-hmm.
an individual who's exactly the same person as my mom. The only difference is the 20-year gap.
Yes. The
But
20-year gap.
I don't know if it's on the recording because of it got cut. It didn't start recording. But I said about my mom didn't let me see my grandmother for 8 years, and then my grandmother came and, came and looked for us after 8 years and said, "Hey, what the hell? I've been looking for you guys for 8 years." When my mother made us believe that my grandma didn't love us, so
Yeah.
I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't do the same thing to her or to my kids. So
Yeah.
regardless of me knowing this individual how she is, I still took her my kids.
Yeah.
So pretty much 12 years later from the event of
Yeah.
my brother is there at my mom's house. And my wife, I'm telling you, my wife is my backbone. She made me
Mhm.
the person I needed to be. She helped me grow
Yeah.
up. She tells me, "Andy, that's your brother. Andy, he was a child. Andy, she took advantage of him. That's your brother."
Yeah.
Okay. I go in the house. "Hey man, can you come out?" He's in the bathroom. He's avoiding me. Oh, he's avoiding me. Again,
Yeah.
because
I
everybody's
can
used
only
to this.
imagine. Yeah.
Everyone's used to this old Andy.
Yeah.
So he finally comes out, and I'm like, "Hey man, want to talk to you." He goes, "What's up?" I'm like, "I wanted to tell you thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, because what you did with the mother of my kids got me full custody of my boys. And
Yeah.
you damn well know that they're better off with me than with
Yeah.
her.
Sure. Yeah.
He said, yeah. Okay. If
So
I can,
how is he as a stepdad to your kids? I want to hear that question, but after you finish. But yeah,
I'll
sorry.
get there.
Yes.
And there's more. I just don't know how much time you have left.
Yes.
So, I told him, if I can have a, a decent conversation with the mother of my kids, I should be able
Hmm.
to have one with you because you're my brother. I changed your diaper. So, and then I knew he was sincere when he told me, nothing I can do or say can take back what I did to you.
Yeah. I'm
The
sure that
past.
should ate him up, and that's probably why
Well,
he was
that's
in
why
a
he
lot of
hid
drugs
because,
and stuff.
and that's why he hid because once he grew up and understand, I fucked up.
Yeah.
So I gave him a hug and I told him the past is the past, right?
Yeah.
So that same day, as we're driving off, my son, who's 9 years old, the little one, 9 years old, Jojo. Oh my God, this kid is a fucking, es un cabrón, es funny kid. He's like,
Mhm.
Dad. I'm confused. I'm like, what's going on, mijo? Why was Vanessa? Because they call her by name. Oops, I said her name. Um,
Yeah.
why was why was her ex-husband at grandma's house? Because he's my brother. Same reaction. Ew, she's disgusting.
Yikes.
A 9-year-old put together that a mom should not be messing with an a a brother, an
Yeah, a
uncle.
brother.
Oh, she
Oof.
gave me shit for telling the boys that. I'm like, they asked. You're the
Yeah.
one that put yourself in that. You put yourself in that position. Did you
Yeah.
think the boys were never gonna ask?
No. Did she think he
So
was going to be a better dad than you were?
so no, she told me years later. She told me years later that what she did was she only did it to piss me off. And I said, how did that turn out?
Yeah. But that's just it though. Okay, so like he's grown and he marries her, and then how was he as a stepdad to your kids?
I didn't allow it. I didn't allow it because the first thing that happened was the first court order was he wasn't allowed to be around my kids. And
Oh,
then
okay, okay.
she would bribe them with stuff. One day the little one again, Jojo,
Hmm.
she gave me strawberries. Why? So I wouldn't tell you my uncle was there.
Wow.
So that's where the private investigator got involved, and
Yeah.
he caught them in the act, and boom, full custody. He wasn't allowed to be around the kids whatsoever. Again,
Yeah.
this is back in 2013, 2014. The
Yeah.
past is the past. My boys hold no animosity over
Yeah.
him. One, because I tell them, this was my battle. This wasn't your battle.
Yeah.
That's your
Yeah.
uncle. If I can forgive him, well, you guys have no reason to forgive him because he did nothing wrong to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they he comes over and Uncle Angel was oops, I said his name. Uncle, hi Uncle.
Yes.
And I don't teach my kids to hold anger.
Yeah.
What happened to me, it happened to me.
Yeah.
They've seen me cry. They've wiped my tears. They've hugged me, and they told me, "We're tired of seeing your family hurt you."
Yeah.
And I, they're right. They
Yeah.
they're 15 and 17 shouldn't be wiping my tears away.
Yeah.
This is part of the conversation that you guys are gonna have to go
Yeah.
listen to my
Yeah.
podcast.
We're gonna have to
And
listen to it. We're gonna have to have another one about it because yeah, it goes in deeper. It definitely goes
it,
in
it
deeper.
it's just I just like I said, to this day I'm still fighting. Like I so my daughter didn't talk to me for almost 3 years, right? My daughter
Hmm.
drove me crazy the last few months she was here. And then
Mhm.
I caught her on the phone with her mom. They were laughing at me, and I told my daughter,
Mhm.
"Fuck it, you're going back with her. You're out of here. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have a heart attack because I'm losing my shit. You can go."
Yeah.
So she would come visit, but then she stopped talking to me for almost 3 years. And then so one day I was talking to the mother of my kids this past October. I was talking to the mother of my kids, and it got to the point where my boys got brought up, my daughter got brought up, and then my daughter started blowing up my son's phone. So then
Mhm.
I stopped calling the mother of my kids. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
I talked to her March of this year, and
Mhm.
I told her, I just called her to say, hey, you know what? The boys had a good time at Universal Studios. So
Yeah.
thank you. And she's like, I thought you
Mhm.
died. I'm like, no, I just stopped calling you because I feel like you got what you wanted. You wanted my
Yeah.
daughter to hate me, so I'm done. I'm only
Yeah.
saying thank you for showing the boys a good time. That's it. Conversation lasted like maybe 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Deuces. Because at the end of the day, you acknowledge the good and the bad. And I
Yeah.
acknowledge the fact that the boys had a good time.
Yeah.
So I told her, nah, you wanted your daughter to hate me? I stopped. Fuck it. I'm done. I'm done talking to you.
Yeah.
My daughter finally reaches out to me a couple weeks later. We've been talking ever since. She texts me. She didn't talk to me for a month. So then I
Mhm.
sent her a text message. Kid, communication is the key to everything. No communication. So she tells me, hey, you know, well, my mom said that you said this, and that. I'm like, look, kid, I haven't spoken to your mom. I blocked her, and I got no that chapter of my life is done. It's done.
Yeah. I'm
And my
sure, like, for her, she's just like, that's like her biological mom. So she feels like she has to have that connection with her. And she probably has been looking for that connection for a very long time. And now that she's grown, I guess maybe she could go to her mom about some grown stuff. And then her mom is peeping her up on that. But you know what? The fake always gets
yeah.
exposed. And that's probably what happened. She probably really got to see her for who she really is. And she's like, shit, dad's not crazy.
I had an old I had an old kunkunya call me maybe like I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna say February, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey dude, so I called your baby's mom. I'm like, oh great, thanks. He's like, but
Yeah.
your daughter was there. I'm like, oh okay, well I haven't spoken to her almost 3 years, but I'm glad you did. He's like, you know what, bro? At the end of the day, that girl, she's all you. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
She was so polite. She said, pardon me. She was very respectful. And you
Mm.
damn well, I damn well know she didn't get that from the mom. She got that from you.
Yeah.
That little girl is all you. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh man, thank you, dude. And like I said, a few weeks later, she started reaching out, and we've been talking ever since.
Yeah.
And she tells me that people tell her how well mannered she is and stuff like that. And it's like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. No,
like I
you
said,
should feel good over that. I mean, like I said from the beginning, like it's not easy for a man to raise kids. There's so many men out here that don't even want to deal with the baby mama because it's too difficult. She's too much. I don't want to deal with that. Plus, they're trying to live their own life, and then whenever you meet your wife, that happens. And sometimes the guys are like trying to start a new family. Like, forget the
this is
old one, start the new one.
yeah, this is the one thing that I ended it with her one day because she was just like giving me shit, giving me shit, giving me shit, and I'm like,
Mhm.
dude, be grateful that you found a man that loves his kid, his kids, and a daughter that's not his.
Yeah.
And because she has 5 kids total,
Oh, so
four
she had
ba-
more kids after you?
yeah, 5 kids, 4 baby
Wow.
daddies, and not one of them is in the picture but me.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I as
So
much
what
as I
the other kids, like how was their upbringing?
well, I see it, and there's not that well. And
Mhm.
like I said, the daughter, her daughter, after my son. So then for the next one, her dad is the one that got murdered.
Mm.
So he's not around. And then the last guy was like, dude, I'm tired of this shit. He wants
Mhm.
nothing to do with his son because of her. And I say,
Yeah.
that's fucked up, but it's your call.
Yeah.
Your call. So Some of
Yeah.
you guys, if you think you have baby mama drama, put
No.
my shoes on for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Man, I'm sorry that you had to endure all that, but man, it's so crazy because whenever you go through so much pain, you're like, why did I have to go through all that? But then you're here now and you're like telling your story, and to some it may be entertaining, but at the same time it's like, yo, this is somebody's testimony. Like, this is your testimony. And like, not all heroes wear capes, but you are like a hero in your kids' lives. Like, you changed up everything for them,
When
everything.
when my kids were born, it's like it was a different love. Like I love the mother of my kids,
Yeah,
but I loved my kids.
it was deeper
It's
than
a
that.
different love. It's a
It's kind of
different
like
love.
you were trying to, because this is how I see it sometimes, because I didn't get that love as a kid, but I knew if I ever had kids, I was going to give them that love that I didn't get as a
Yeah.
kid. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
try to do that in every other, like every aspect. And I seen very ugly, bad, like child custody battles with my dad and my mom. I went through it kind of with my divorce, but not so much. Like, he wasn't fighting me on my son, but it just got ugly. You know what I mean? Every day was like a novela. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how it was for you whenever you were with your ex. Every day was a novela, and then having
Like I
all
s-
that shit happen to you.
like I said, she put my wife through shit, but she toughed it out. She put me through hell.
Yeah,
Um, to this day, I'm glad I didn't jump in front of that train. And you know,
for real.
for a long time, I would, kids always ask the question or whatever. Dad, if you can go back in time, what would you do? For a
Yeah.
long time, I said, go back to the day that friend called me to bring the CDs back, to bring the CDs over, because I would have said, nah, it's okay, not today.
Yeah.
But I said that for years. Maybe 2 years ago, I met a guy on here on TikTok
Mhm.
that came on my podcast a couple times, and he asked
Mhm.
the same question, and I thought about it.
Mhm.
I can't say the same thing because if I were to tell my youngest self, don't bump into the mother of your kids, my boys wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And I love them more than life itself.
Yeah. I
They
know
are the
that.
reason I breathe. They are the reason I walk on this earth. They are literally the reason why I walk on this earth.
Yeah. They give you
They
purpose.
they go to marching band as much as I hated marching band. I wanted them in sports. Now you're
Yeah.
talking to the vice president of the booster club.
That's
You
awesome.
know,
Yeah.
and I will do anything, anything for them.
Yeah.
And again, we go back to what I told her. Be glad you found someone who loves his kids, including someone that's not biologically his daughter.
Yeah. No,
And
really. That's a whole blessing. It's a whole blessing for your children's life. She's not going to see it that way because misery loves company and she just rather be miserable in her own little self. Yeah.
yep. So
Yeah.
is what it is. And like I said, that's why I
Mhm.
started my podcast because look at we've been talking. We technically have been talking
Yeah.
for more than an hour.
Yeah, we've been
Technically.
talking over an hour for sure. Man, I really appreciate you, Andy. I hope this is not the last time I get to talk to you. I really appreciate you opening up about baby mama stories, even though I may not have got all of it on this one clip. Y'all guys go make sure to check out his podcast. He talks about how he got locked up because of her, his journey, his felonies, the custody battle, family, upbringing drama. He definitely has some good stories in there, and he has really good stories with people he interviews. I think you bring out, a good story out of everybody that you have on your episodes. So, man, I really do appreciate you connecting with me on TikTok. I appreciate the opportunity with you. Thank you so much. I don't know about the Cowboys yet, but we're just gonna let it slide.
We them
He's
boys. We them
we
boys.
the boys. He's from Cali, guys. I don't know what happened here. I was not expecting this. I'm just kidding with you. But tell people how they can hear you on your platforms, where they can find you.
So I'm on obviously TikTok. I think it's FTA underscore podcast. FTA underscore podcast, which means Flat Tire Andy underscore podcast. I'm on Instagram, Ride with Me So I believe it's ride period with period me podcast p. So
I
after
got you.
every
I'm
word,
gonna put it
there's a
on the
dot.
description. Yeah, I'm gonna
And
put that
then
on the description.
you know, if you go on, I really, if you listen on Spotify, I prefer Spotify. I do have it on
Yeah.
Spotify, iHeart Music. It's on YouTube. Again, Flat Tire Andy's Ride With Me podcast. If you do listen on Spotify, I prefer Spotify. Hit that follow. Please hit that follow.
Subscribe, guys. Subscribe. He always has good content. I promise.
I
Good
do
stories.
I do record podcasts. I started recording every week when I first started. Then it got
Yeah.
stressful. My wife reminded me that hey, it's just a hobby. So now I record when I have a guest. I can go every week sometimes. Then I give it a month break. It's whenever I have a guest. I have a feeling we might have a podcast episode next Saturday.
Yeah. Okay, okay. That's good. That's good. Yes. No, it most definitely, if not, you have 118 episodes to go through. So that's enough for someone to just to wait around to wait for the next one. So definitely thank you again. I really appreciate you being a part of Real Hot Mom Shit. Sharing the baby daddy stories, man. For real. Because nobody gets to hear that side of the story. Nobody gets to hear how crazy baby mamas can be. So I know someone can relate to your story. So thank you again. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
I hope you and your family get to enjoy watching Beetlejuice.
Actually, plans were changed, so we'll
Yes.
watch it probably.
Okay.
We'll so probably Sunday.
It's a really good movie. It's a really good movie. Well,
Uh,
y'all guys, thank y'all so much for watching Real Hot Mom stuff. Or I'm sorry, Real Hot Mom shit. And it's been real. Bye, Andy.
bye.